So President Biden is considering canceling student loan debt for tens of millions of Americans, and Republicans are attacking the idea because they don't want the president to get credit for helping working families that need help. So one of the arguments they've been making is that canceling student loan debt will somehow make inflation worse. So that's the question I want to pursue in this round. Republicans' arguments, I think, here are completely out of step with reality. When the pandemic hit 2 years ago, President Trump halted all student loan payments, and they've been paused ever since then. In other words, the federal government has already been effectively canceling every month of student loan payments for more than 2 years. Now, Mr. Pierce, you're an expert on student debt and its impact on borrowers and the economy. So let me ask you, what does the data show about how 2 years of student loan cancellation has impacted inflation?
Thank you for the question, Senator Warren. And I actually want to cite the same conservative think tank, the Center for Responsible Federal Budget, that Senator Toomey cited in his opening remarks, noting that it is putting billions of dollars back in borrowers' pockets, but that is just a few $billion in a many $trillion economy. It has not, the same analysis shows that it has not contributed substantially to inflation. And in fact, it's just driving 0.02% of inflation. That is 1/4 of all inflation in America. The White House actually puts that estimate even lower. And 97% of all inflation is due to other causes, like the war in Ukraine, problems with the supply chain, and most importantly, greed by mega corporations that are profiteering off of the pandemic.
Okay, so even the most conservative think tanks say about, is it 0.2% of inflation may have been affected?
That's right.
Let's unpack that a little bit. Because according to the New York Fed, the payment pause has saved borrowers $84 billion a year. $84 billion for 2 years sounds like a lot of money to most people, including me. And you're saying that even so, it only contributed 0.2 percentage point to the rate of inflation. So why is it that $84 billion a year isn't adding more inflation?
That's because, and again, I'm citing a conservative think tank here.
Got it.
That's because we have a multi-trillion-dollar economy that's driven by consumer spending. Mm-hmm. And this billions of dollars in relief, it's life-changing for the families that benefit from it, but it's just a drop in the bucket for the economy.
Okay, so let me see if I've got this straight. Republicans' so-called solution to rising prices is to tell hardworking families that they need to start writing checks for hundreds or thousands of dollars a month to the federal government. You know, that's not just a slap in the face to borrowers who are barely getting by right now. It also would have virtually no impact on inflation. But let's talk about what cancellation of student loan debt would do for the economy. Mr. Pierce, what impact would meaningful student debt cancellation have on families' pocketbooks and the broader economy?
So, as you mentioned, we have canceled student loan payments for 2 years.
Yeah.
And research that we published with the California Policy Lab and our Student Loan Law Initiative at University of California, Irvine, found that the average family saves $200 a month. 43% of those borrowers have used that to pay down high-cost credit card debt. And the borrowers with the worst credit, with the weakest credit going into the pandemic, have experienced the biggest gains. So this is progressive policy and is a breath of fresh air for people that have struggled for too long.
Right. And for people who are now getting rid of the long-term principal, what does this mean for their lives? What can they now do?
This will expand opportunities for homeownership. It'll make a generation of renters turn into a generation of homeowners. It'll help people save for retirement, and it will help fight the plague of intergenerational student debt. It will free up people's money to help the next generation pay for college.
So a lot of opportunity, a lot of long-term stability for families. You know, this would be real money in the pockets of American families who are struggling to pay their bills right now. And let's be clear about what's happening here. Republicans are desperate to stop the president from doing something that would help working families. So desperate that they are peddling lies about how student loan debt cancellation would impact our economy. Here are the facts. Canceling student debt would unlock opportunities for Americans across the country. It is a crucial step in reforming the broken student loan system, and it would not inflate the economy. It would make it stronger for years to come. The president needs to provide meaningful student debt cancellation for hardworking families, and he needs to do it now. Thank you for being with us.